Hey, it's Bronze and Modern Gods. I'm John.
I'm Richard.
What is up, Richard? What's up, everybody? We've got a jam-packed show today. We're not going to waste any time. We've got underrated books of the week. We've got viewer mail. We've got the 25-year rule, and when we go back to 1999 and the books that shaped our collecting lives. And we start off with a little controversy, Richard, before we go into the hot book of the week.
Okay.
A lot of people hitting us up in the DMs and in the comments asking our opinion about the latest CGC controversy. Now, there's a little graphic we just have, a brand new graphic for people that are on the podcast where it says Bronze and Modern Gods, all comics, zero drama. So we're going to be hypocrites right now and talk a little. It's not. It's not YouTube drama. It's collecting drama, which is a little different than YouTube drama, I think. All right, Richard, you're not up to speed, right? So I'm going to read. Okay. CGC forums. I've been watching this thread for a while now, and I haven't said anything because there's, it's all anecdotal. It was all anecdotal. I think it's actually not anecdotal at this point. When you have how many anecdotes do you need before it's no longer anecdotal?
Right.
There is a thread. It is in the description below where people are getting their books back from CGC, and there is an issue where the inner well, which is the stiff plastic, almost like mylar-ish bag where your book goes in, and then it's sealed in a harder plastic case. You guys know how slabs work. Inner wells are bowed like a banana. And so what's happening is you're getting a 9.8. They're putting your book in this bowed inner well. They seal it, and your book all of a sudden has a gnarly spine tick or two where it did not have one before. So you have 9.8 books that look like 9.4s, 9.6s. And this is a problem. This is an issue. There are several examples, multiple examples in this thread that we are linking to. Also, we're not going to go too deep into it because we only do this once or twice a week. So we're beaten to the punch when it comes to breaking news. Swaggle House did a really good video on it earlier this week. If you really want to get into it, the 9.9 newsstand on Instagram, that is his handle. He's really covered it along with the originating thread in the CGC forums. That's really the place to go. I'm not sending I haven't been sending books in, but boy, I'm sure not doing it now. What are you shocked at this? You haven't seen any of these photos yet, have you?
No, I haven't. Is it because the inner well is too big for the case and it's bowing? Is that
all sorts of speculation? I don't know if anything's been confirmed. It could be the skinny. The gossip is this was a defective batch of manufacturing material that they got, and they thought they caught all of the defective wells, but apparently more of them have slipped through. So it's also been speculated that it's a new function of the new case where they up security after swappity gate. And now you've got this new sealing method that's causing these inner wells to bow. Who knows? But you guys, I gotta tell you, it's mostly affecting modern books. I'll say that, along with a heaping helping of copper. I'm not sending anything in for a long time.
Yeah. We've talked about this before. There really isn't anything that makes me want to risk sending a book in. I have no urgent need to have my books graded, so I'll take my time. Now, Evan, I know you're watching. He has a number of books that he's sending in. I'd hold off, to be honest with you.
He just got stuff back. We'll have to have him on maybe members only chat this week and go through his books and have him show them and see if any of them were bent.
That's good.
Yeah, because what's happening is, it's happening post grading. So they're grading the book. So it's not like, they bent the book and then gave it a 9.4.
Right.
They're grading the book. It's a 9.8, 9.6, and then they seal it and boing. And there's been a semi-official statement from CGC where they say they're aware of the problem, and anybody that wants to complain, reach out with examples. That's as far as it's gotten as of recording this Sunday evening. So we'll see what happens this week.
Yeah, I have no idea what the resolution would be. To compensate them for the lost grades? Give them a free reholder?
I would look at the serial numbers from the last month or so. And if you are a mercenary person, there's plenty of crack and resubmit opportunities out there for you. I'm not going to be that mercenary for now. But that was interesting. Some news there. Now let's just pivot over to everyone's second favorite topic after Viewer Mail. Hot book of the week. Richard, this is all you?
Yeah. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 12, the last issue in the 12-issue limited series Secret Wars. Doom Mania continues. It's crazy. You know, you see RDJ on stage with the Doom mask and everybody just goes nuts. High grade raws are selling for around $10 on eBay. Now this is a book that has been a favorite for the dollar bins. There are certain issues of Secret Wars, Secret Wars number 1, number 8, that command a value, and then there's a lot of also rans, and I think this book has always been one of those also rans.
I love the beautiful pink and blue color. It reminds me of, well, obviously it reminds me of, because it was an homage, the Gwenpool cover. You know, it's the same color scheme. It's interesting. The last sale for a CGC 9.8 of this book, which, by the way, this is not a scarce book whatsoever. Please don't pay a lot for this muffler. There's a reference for you Gen X people. The last CGC 9.8 was $140. It was up from the 90-day average of $119. Some trivia for you, Richard. You know, I love giving you trivia about these comics. This is the issue where the She-Hulk officially joins the Fantastic Four.
Right.
This book, double-sized, Secret Wars on the whole was so far behind schedule. That's why you see this rushed Mike Zeck art, some Bob Layton fill-in stuff here and there. By the time they got to issue 12, which was double-sized, they were so far behind schedule that if you look, get your copy, go to page 30. Page 30 is penciled by Art Adams and inked by Mike Mignola.
Wow.
They were just farming it out to get it done. Not so much trivia. John's soapbox. I hate when they show Doom's face. I hate it.
Right. I 100% agree. I hate it. Doom's face was disfigured. He should not be shown. He, as a rule, never took his mask off in front of other people. So why in this we have his face?
But because he absorbed the powers of the Beyonder and healed his face, and he wants to show off. And I get it, but it should have been like, you know, his arm in front, or, you know, just fight, or don't do it. Jim Shooter, our buddy, I have to disagree with you on showing Doom's face. Not a fan.
Same, not a fan either.
What I am a fan of, though, Richard, segue, is the convention I went to yesterday. Yes, a new one here in Long Beach, California. It's called Showcase Sundays. Here's some beautiful bean footage for you as I talk about it. It was like in the Long Beach Sportsman's Club, which is kind of like a VFW type place. You know, I love me some small local shows.
Yeah.
This one, great selection of local dealers, some surprisingly big boy books. Incredible Hulk #1, anybody?
Wow.
A foreign Incredible Hulk #1, I think it was Greek. An Amazing Fantasy 15 for sale at this little Long Beach show. And then on top of that, just tons and tons of bargain bins to dive into. And Richard, I saw this for you. It is someone selling the Crippen copy of Susie #51.
That's awesome.
I almost spent $5,000 for you, but I thought, you know what? I don't like them that much.
Yeah, my birthday's coming up, though.
Oh, that's true. December. Save up, everybody. Let's go to the show organizers and have them tell you a little bit about it real quick. Who are you and what are we doing?
Levi Comics is the first Showcase Sundays. I'm G. This is
Steve.
And what are you on Instagram?
Comic_dig.
Yep.
At Lazo Foundation.
Awesome. Tell us about why you're doing a little local show like this.
In the 90s, we had a local show in the South Bay, and we're trying to revitalize the community and bring more events to the people.
And you know, I'm super happy because I'm 1.8 miles that way.
Nice. Thanks for visiting us.
When's the next one? Any idea yet?
We're thinking February.
Awesome. All right.
All right, you heard him. The next one is tentatively scheduled for February. So if you live here in Southern California, why don't you go check it out? Because it was a fun time. First show for them, super impressed. I was pleasantly surprised at the number of dealers. The parking situation was great. No admission fee, everybody buying books. I was impressed. I love a local show, so good job, you guys.
Awesome. So was there a good crowd for it?
There was a decent crowd. I was teasing them because they started at 7 a.m. They opened the doors at 7 a.m.
Yes.
I was like, guys, 7 a.m. on a Sunday, stop it. There was a line out the door they showed me at 7 a.m. of 12 to 15 people out the door waiting to come in at 7 a.m. So I guess I'm just in the minority there. But there was a lot of people there when I was there at 10:30. So good job, you guys. All right, Richard, show and tell time. Delayed fingers. There we go. Okay, sorry, everyone. I'm so excited about my show and tell. Not too excited about this, though. I'm showing this for different reasons. Tarzan #1 from Marvel. As a huge Tarzan fan in the 70s, thanks to the paperbacks with the Boris Vallejo covers and the Neil Adams covers and the Frank Frazetta covers, I used to read the DC Tarzan, and then they moved the license over to Marvel, and I thought, okay, this can't miss. Marvel, Tarzan, my favorite comic book company, one of my favorite properties. Roy Thomas and John Buscema. We've talked about them the last couple of weeks in King Conan, Conan the Barbarian, the Avengers. All right. Buscema's inking himself here. It's kind of lazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's Roy Thomas basically transcribing the book and John Buscema, you know, I don't know. I never thought I'd say this because you guys know my opinion about Joe Kubert. Not a fan. I miss the Joe Kubert energy.
Wow.
You know, it's kind of like, all right, you've got a really good draftsman, great anatomy, great proportions, great perspective versus Rob Liefeld. You know, say what you want about Rob Liefeld. There's an excitement there, right?
There is. Absolutely. There's dynamism in his work. Yeah.
And I just didn't get it from Tarzan. And then, John's brother Sal takes over the art, and then it's Blando City. All right, what do you got?
All right. I have a theme going here. These are all books that start with the letter C.
You with the theme. You beat me this week. I didn't have a theme.
Not really a huge thing. All right. Cyberpunk #1, starting Cyberpunk 2077, the comic book. For those who don't know, Cyberpunk 2077 is a video game out on PC and PS5 and Xbox. It is a game that had a lot of hype coming into it. It's a game put out by the same people who did The Witcher, Witcher 3. So CD Projekt Red. So there was a lot of hype about it. The comic book came out. It sold like hotcakes. There was a limited edition of this that was very, very, very rare. Sold for a lot of hype. Then the game came out. The game it kind of sucked at launch. It more than sucked at launch. I played it from launch, and you are fighting T-posing enemies, and it's all falling through the earth and all those kinds of problems. So the value of these books took a nosedive.
Fell through the earth?
Yes, they fell to the earth. Later, CD Projekt Red spent a lot of effort, and I had to applaud them in fixing those bugs. And by the time they finished patching the game is now officially unsupported, but it's still available. They fixed the bugs and they rehashed the game systems that were broken to the point where it's a great game. And if you have an opportunity to play it now, I would say play it. Back then, I would not. But this comic, it had its ups and downs in pricing. I love the cover. I think the cover, the yellow is just awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is one of the few gaming tie-ins that I actually bought.
Bronze and Modern Gods, come for the show and tell and comic chat, stay for the wrinkled bags.
Yes, it is a wrinkle. Look at that. I'll highlight the wrinkles on my bag.
I forget who said that in the comments. Full credit to you who said that in the comments last week.
This isn't even that old. This is probably like 3 years old.
I put my books in Mylars before I
Yes, you do.
Including this one, which, right, Spectacular Spider-Man number 54. What is unusual about this is who drew the cover. Any guesses?
I'm trying to look. No, no idea.
Frank Miller, inked by Walt Simonson.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Frank Miller at all.
It's got that, early Frank Miller Daredevil kind of look to it. But yeah, it's good old Frank, inked by Simonson. And I've never seen that combo before or since.
Kudos to Simonson.
Yeah, a great black cover, or a super high grade for a newsstand, or not just for a newsstand, a super high grade, period. But just a beautiful, beautiful cover. And with both of them loving Japanese imagery, it's a natural that, both Frank Miller and Walt Simonson collaborating on this was like a dream, I'm sure, for them. So there's a little oddity for you. What's next?
All right. Checking the wrinkles.
How wrinkled?
Captain America #1. This is, you can tell by the blue label at the bottom, this is a second print. You can also tell, there's a way of telling if you look at the UPC code. I'm trying to see it backwards. Right there, the UPC code. You see the number 2 there, the last digit? That indicates the print. So this is the second print. This is Sam Wilson becoming Captain America, and obviously there's a movie coming up where Sam plays Cap, and so this is a good tie-in. Second prints are pretty rare for this. I was collecting these because I'm a fan of Sam Wilson in general, and the fact that he's becoming Captain America. He is no Steve Rogers, but he's still going to be Captain America. So it's a good book to have if you're looking at specking on Captain America.
All right, now hold that up and show us the very bottom corner where it says AR. Have you ever tried the other side? Ever tried to do that AR with your phone on these?
No,
books?
I have not. No.
All right, but this book is what, 10 years old at this point?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know the controversy over the new X-Men #1s? People are angry that there are QR codes in the new X-Men books that have like a bonus scene at the end, like an end credit sequence. And you have to use your phone and point it at the QR code and see the scene. People are furious with Tom Brevoort over this. It's the editor. It's crazy. You guys, you're not familiar with QR codes. Are you? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't understand the difficulty of just holding your phone up and reading the QR code.
Seriously, if you're watching this or you're listening to this on the podcast and these QR codes have you enraged, I honestly want you to leave a comment and tell me why, because I don't get it.
Yeah,
I'm open to the reasoning. It sounds so grumpy old man, but maybe I'm missing something.
Marvel's done these augmentations for a while now. Remember that stupid digital comic, the little tag inside the comic that is the bane of anybody who's pressed a modern comic.
Yes.
Because you've got to protect the book around that particular thing. So yeah, Marvel has a history of doing these kind of augmentations to their books.
It's not that difficult, you guys. Thor 385, great Ron Friends, Hulk versus Thor cover. Not the reason I'm showing it. The reason I'm showing it is the first book. It wasn't the first published, but it was the first comic drawn for Marvel by Eric Larson.
Oh,
Eric Larson had seen Jim Shooter at a convention and had some samples, and Shooter basically hired him to do a fill-in for Thor right there on the spot, and they plotted it together right there at the convention. And it sat in a drawer for a few years. Other stuff came out first before this. But what's interesting about this, there's a few things interesting about this issue. Inked by Vinnie Coletta, so it looks like warm dog vomit. Sorry to you Coletta fans out there, all three of you. And scripted by Stan Lee.
wow.
Nothing on the cover indicating that it's by Stan Lee, just kind of done by Stan Lee as an afterthought almost. It is a crazy story. The Hulk basically kills 3 campers by smashing them. He threatens a little girl. He has a woman that he's holding hostage by her legs and like threatening to swing her around unless Thor throws away his hammer. I mean, it's murderous in this. Wow. It's very strange, which I'm shocked Jim Shooter helped plot this. It's so maybe, you know, the mindless monster era of the Hulk, but he's talking like the Hulk. So it's not the mindless mute Hulk. Mm-hmm. Just a little oddity of an issue there for you. Brutal. All right. I haven't read it in years. I read it before we went on. I was like, wait, I don't remember this being so awful. All right. What do you got with the last one?
Last book is really indicative of the entire run. This is Adam Hughes on Catwoman.
Interior? Just the cover?
Just the cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I love this series. I forgot to get the range of issues, but it's about a 12-issue run where he does covers for all the Catwoman books, and they are all striking. I just love this particular action pose. It's just an amazing pose. I have not read the story, but I have all of the cover, the entire run, because I love the covers.
That is the same pose every morning, and I'm the guy laying on bed there. That's my cat Blur asking me to get up to feed him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. And as a matter of fact, my wife was looking for a present for me one year, and she came to you, and you recommended one of the books. I wish I had brought it down. It is a 9.8 graded book that is part of my collection because it was picked by John and given to me by my wife. So it's a double special.
I'll take all the credit. Forget her. She just paid for it. That's all. Speaking of paying for things, hey, why don't you help support the show? Or you can become a member right here on YouTube for the cost of $2.99 a month. I'm not going to say the same cost as a Starbucks this week. I promise you. But if you do, I just said it. You get exclusive live member-only streams on Thursday. We're back this Thursday, by the way. Extra Wednesday show and tell episodes. Shout-outs like this in future videos. There they go, the people. And you support us being able to go to more shows like the Showcase Sundays in Long Beach I went to yesterday. Just hit join right here on YouTube. It's right here next to the subscribe button below. Also, if you're a member, you will have seen this weekend we dropped the long-awaited spine roll correction video. Not a hoax, not a dream, but real. It's real. It shows you how to correct spine rolls the Bronze and Modern Gods way, and it's live now for members only. So join today while we move on to viewer mail.
You've got mail.
Hi, my first piece of viewer mail comes to us from our buddy Timothy Markin. John mentioned seeing Skull the Slayer in the Bullpen's checklist, but I never saw it new anywhere. Reminds me of being a kid in the late 70s, and whenever I was out with my parents and someone had old comics for sale, I gravitated towards Spider-Man. In those early 70s checklists that I'd see 5 or 6 years after the comics were published, I'd see titles like Night Nurse, Little Kids, Harvey, Chili, Spoof, etc. Those books, which obviously had low print runs, were virtually non-existent as I became a more seasoned collector throughout the 80s. As a kid, I'd think these were made-up names that just weren't published. Since then, I've acquired and sold off many of those comics, but I never saw an issue of Night Nurse until 1993, and Everything Happens to Harvey. I never saw it in the wild until about 5 years ago. Richard, regarding that FF special, one thing you may have forgotten was that John Byrne added story pages between the Kirby pages to expand the background of the narrative. I imagine it was also to pad the story to a full 64 pages therein, as FF Annual 1 had several reprints included. All right, let me take all this in order. I never saw Night Nurse until the year 1991. I remember it well. I was back from Korea in the Army, helping manage and work at Adventure Comics and Cards in Monterey, California. And they knew I was always joking about Night Nurse, and they found issues 1 through 4 and presented them to me for my birthday.
Oh.
They were beautiful. I mean, they were 9/6s. I don't know where they found them. I saved them for years, lost them in the purge, sold them in the purge. I wish I had them to this day. Awful. And boy, is there hubris or what with John Byrne adding pages to a Lee and Kirby masterpiece?
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was one of the call outs on the cover, was that John Byrne had added additional story information. I think it fits John Byrne's personality to think that he could add to Kirby's narrative. That's his reputation.
Let me fix this for you. By the way, Steve and Stan, the Sandman was related to Norman Osborn because they had the same hairdo. Also, the Hulk was created not from a gamma bomb explosion, but a gamma laser beam. Okay, Richard, go on. What's your first piece of viewer mail?
My first piece is from Omar Nagi. The problem with PSA, we're talking about different slabs. The problem with the PSA label is that it works for cards because they are normally just put away, rarely displayed prominently. Comic slabs are regularly displayed on walls, so presentation is critical. PSA label reminds me of a first-gen CGC label regarded as the ugliest. Yeah, so this comment is about, we were talking about PSA, the appearance of the slab. Slab's nice and heavy, at least the prototype that they showed us. But the label is just the same tired label that is on their cards. And for comics that are, prominently displayed, because comics that can be displayed, it's kind of a letdown to have a substandard label. As far as cards not being displayed, I get you, and I agree with you for the most part. I think people who have some of the high dollar cards may want to display them on occasion, but I don't think they're displayed as often as comics. I will agree with you on that.
Omar's got a great point. That is a great point. I didn't even think of, PSA is probably not even thinking of that. They're like, oh, no one ever looks at this stuff. They slab it and they put it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, comics are not that. Comics, because of their size, I think, are akin to small movie posters, and people will hang them on the wall.
Mm-hmm. All right. My next piece of viewer mail comes from the friendly neighborhood linguist. Is he a cunning?
No. Oh, I knew that was coming.
Another underrated King Conan book is issue number 13, the first cover art by Mark Silvestri. Cunning linguist, you are right. Also, lots of interior art from Mark Silvestri, one of the first things he ever did at Marvel. So excellent call out there. And I don't have a 13. What's next?
Next is talking about Infamous Iron Man from ZR0470. I believe people are looking at the wrong comic for the story for RDJ as Doom. It will probably be the What If issue where Victor and Tony swap minds, where Victor is in Tony's body and vice versa. That is the way Marvel deals with the issue with why Dr. Doom looks like Tony, aka RDJ. Okay, so the mind swap thing, boy, that's not been done before. I'm hoping it's not going to be that. Please don't let it be that. I'm
as the world turns.
It was my evil twin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the storyline for either the What If or Infamous Iron Man is ultimately going to be with what they go with in terms of bringing Dr. Dr. Doom into the MCU. And again, just because it's Robert Downey Jr. doesn't mean he has to show his face. Hopefully they don't show his face. So while he could be the actor, we won't actually see him and be able to associate him with Iron Man. So that whole link with Iron Man, may be just a red herring. We'll see. I mean, it's Marvel has a variety of different options and different ways they can go. And I hope they do something that intrigues us and gets us behind RDJ as the new Doom. So we have to wait and see.
You should never see Dr. Doom's face.
No.
Charlie Dog from Australia writes us yet again, talking about Supervillain Team Up. Supervillain Team Up was the book that wouldn't die. 1 through 14 were published bi-monthly. 15 was quarterly, and 16 and 17 were, wait for it, annually. Yes, SVTU was its own annual. And as John said, it had subplots. One of the weirdest publication schedules for a comic I've ever encountered. I read somewhere that this was done so that Marvel would retain rights to the title. Can either of you confirm this? I can. And you're right, Charlie Dog. DC and Marvel were fighting over the trademark for the term supervillain. DC had Secret Society of Supervillains. Marvel had Supervillain Team Up. Kind of the only reason those two books existed. Again, trademark preservation comics. And what happened, I believe in 1978, they came together and they co-trademarked both the terms superheroes and supervillains. I don't know where that trademark stands these days. Only there was a website where I could look it up before the show. But yeah, absolutely true. That's why Supervillain Team Up was canceled. But then they were like, okay, we got to put out at least one issue a year to maintain our claim. Richard, do not read Bill Sienkiewicz's Stray Toasters miniseries. The art can fry your brain.
Thank you for the warning. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe my brain just is not developed enough to appreciate all of Bill Sienkiewicz's work.
I don't know. I think we need to do like a Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer on you and expose you to the thing you fear the most so you get over it. Like when he has like a dog that hates skateboarders, he takes it to the skateboard park and the dog's like, we can go in a whole subtopic of talking about him and his dog training because I think some of it's just BS. My last piece is from Cliff Woodbury. Green Lantern. We're talking about Green Lantern as a underrated book. I'm talking about he says, I also consider the Legion Corps to be woefully underutilized. And I wish they didn't concentrate on just Green Lanterns, as all the other colors could be amazing stories also. 100% agree. This is such an amazing set of characters and potential storylines. Originally it was Green Lantern, and Green Lantern Corps came out of that. And then you had the lanterns, the core split, and now there's all these different colors, and each color has focuses on a different emotion and different process. All those storylines are potential, from that whole story arc, and DC is just ignoring it. Where's Evan when you need him?
Yeah, well, I know Evan would rant too. I get frustrated when DC and Marvel, because they're both guilty of this, don't take advantage of characters that are A-listers, just not double A-listers or S-listers or whatever you want to call them. But S-listers for DC are Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Okay, those three will always sell something. But then there's so many other characters that they have, like the Green Lantern Corps.
Is that DC's fault or is that the fans' fault? You got to be able to support a book. Is there an ongoing Green Lantern title right now? I'm honestly asking.
That's a good question. I don't know.
This is why you guys come here, for the knowledge,
the deep knowledge. Well, same thing with Legion. Legion of Superheroes. There's a deep well of stories of history that just have been untapped. and instead we get the 17th Batman movie. Why not broaden that horizon and that broaden that list of characters so that people who may not want to see the 17th Batman movie may be introduced to somebody like Green Lantern, or the Legion, or there's all different kinds of characters that I think Lobo could be, and just low hanging fruit that DC is ignoring.
They did try a Green Lantern movie.
Yeah, they did. That's right.
With Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
Man, you can't make that work. I don't know what to tell you, my friend.
Yeah, it's just frustrating because I think Legion the Green Lantern Corps has such possibilities for the silver screen, and it's just frustrating to see DC basically squander those opportunities for yet another Superman movie.
Why can't they make an ongoing Green Lantern title work? Why can't they make an ongoing Legion of Superheroes title work? You had their biggest hitter, Brian Michael Bendis. You guys love him. I don't. They had him on the Legion, and it didn't pan out. Didn't work.
Yeah, well, okay. I can accept that as that's. Are we saying that DC it really is just the Holy Trinity, and everybody else is just also rans?
That is their business right now, is creating Batman spinoffs and supporting Superman until a movie comes out, and doing a Wonder Woman thing every now and again, and keeping that trademark alive. I look at the roster of books right now. Yeah. Why is there not an ongoing Suicide Squad book? Wasn't that 2 hugely successful movies?
Take some chances. I know the atmosphere for new movies is risk adverse, just because we've had so many bad movies come out. And look at the new one. Oh boy, I'm not gonna remember the name of it.
Did you see the trailer for Creature Commandos?
No, I did not. Any good?
Yeah, from the mind of James Gunn.
Oh,
James Gunn did not create the Creature Commandos.
He did not.
Just a heads up. I get what they're saying. It's basically Suicide Squad with people they don't care if they die or not. That's the concept. It really is. It's Amanda Waller and Rick Flag, and they're we can't keep killing people, so no one cares if Frankenstein dies. So it's very comedic, very tongue-in-cheek, which is the way to go. You don't want to take a concept like Creature Commandos and make it deadly serious. So we'll see. The can he stop the bleeding? Can one man stop all the hemorrhaging? I don't know, but I do remember in 1999, and I'm going to cut you off because in 1999 you had a Green Lantern ongoing title.
Yes. You
had Wonder Woman in her own book. You had so many Legion in their own book still. Yeah, it's the 25-year-old. I tried, folks. I tried.
Yeah, what you wanted to say was, Richard, shut up.
Richard, you ignorant slut. I haven't said that. No, I totally get what you're saying. But we're talking about
that was an in joke there for what we were talking about earlier.
We're talking about Fantastic Four 99. This was the annual from 1999 for the FF, written by the ongoing writer for the ongoing, Chris Claremont, who was writing it at the time, drawn by Jose Ladron. Mwah, chef's kiss.
Wait. Who did the cover for this?
Jose Ladron.
And you're giving that a chef's kiss?
You don't like that? Okay, it's Kirby meets Mobius. Think of it that way.
It looks like some fan art that you would get deviant art, to be honest with you.
What don't you like?
I'm looking at Sue Storm right now.
Okay.
And just her head. And
that is very unlike Ladron styled Sue Storm. I'll give you that, because you see Celine in the background there, the Black Queen, and you're not feeling the Kirby hands for Blackheart.
Yeah, the Sue's head is all I could see. It's the thing that draws my eyes.
Can you give Jose credit for updating her hairstyle so it actually fits in 1999 instead of the 60s bouffant?
I will give him that. I will give him that.
Well, it's a Claremont book, so of course it has to involve Selene, the Hellfire Club, Magarle Zardos, all those major Fantastic Four characters that have made the Fantastic Four what they are today. You're really, well, except for Richard, you're really looking at this book for the beautiful Ladron art, who I said is the cross between Jack Kirby and Mobius. He also had a really great run on Cable with Joe Casey that I quite liked. I bought Cable. I was buying Cable regularly. What was wrong with me?
Wow.
Jose Ladron, man. You can grab a high-grade copy on eBay for around $5 to $8, unless you're Richard and you want to take it and throw it away.
You know what? This is my first. I was not collecting in 1999. This is my first time actually seeing his work. I'll take a look at the interior art. It's got to be at least better than this.
This podcast completely encapsulates the fan reaction to Jose Ladron. I mean, see this black line right here? Mm-hmm. If you're watching on YouTube, this black line right down the middle, that was the reaction to Jose Ladron. People loved it. People hated it. There was very little in between. Watch me be a whore. Ready? I'm going to be a whore. Leave us a comment whether you liked or hated Jose Ladron's artwork.
Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Give us a comment if you hated it.
I'm going to be like the Deal Guy. You ever watch the Deal Guy on YouTube? Give me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Underrated books of the week, Richard. You picked something fantastic. Go on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I picked Reid Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman, #1 from 1980. Story and art by David Boswell. Reid Fleming is actually the name of his childhood bully, and kind of how the character came about. This guy is a milkman, drives a milk truck, and he likes to wreck it all the time. His supervisor wants to fire him, but his boss, one of my favorite names for a boss, Mr. O'Clock, prefers to dock him pay for every destroyed milk van. A character is grouchy and angry and violent, all while driving a milk truck. He's just an unhappy man, but he gets into some really interesting adventures while he's driving this truck. David Boswell's still around. He's in his 70s at this point, but he's got a website, reidfleming.com, where he will sell you a copy of issue #1 for $1.49. It's 2016 facsimile that he's selling. This was out on Eclipse as a label, which is really interesting because this is typical black and white comics with an X kind of work. No superheroes are involved in this. This is all grassroots kind of artwork, and story is rough and ready. I love that. I love because it reminds me of a time when comics didn't have to go through committees to be made, and with thought process about potential movie deals and all the layers of stuff that came. This is just comics for comics' sake. This guy wanted to tell a story, and he told it, and Eclipse published it for him, so it was great. There's a Flaming Carrot crossover in 2002. This book is not very, at least I will say has not been graded often. The highest sale that I could find on GPA was, for strangely enough, earlier this month for 9.2 for $125. But like I said, I think this book is important because of that comics link, comics with an X, that Eclipse was still able to promote back in 1980, and this book would never be able to come back on a major label today.
Richard, what's a milkman?
Exactly.
Please, I'm so young, I don't know what that is.
Oh, you don't.
Hey, my underrated book this week is Fantastic Four #226. What? Before John Byrne's legendary run, there was a mostly forgotten run by Doug Mensch and your favorite Richard, Bill Sienkiewicz, still in his Neil Adams mode. It was a pretty unmemorable run. It wasn't bad. is just, kind of washed over you like, oh, I read an issue of FF this month. Okay. But what's interesting about this issue is that Mensch took the opportunity to sew up some dangling plot threads from a canceled book that he worked on, and he used Fantastic Four to sew up those plot threads. What was that canceled book, you say? Master of Kung Fu? No. Shogun Warriors. We get to see in this issue whatever happened to the Shogun Warriors after their book was canceled. I love the Shogun Warriors. Richard, did you read the Shogun Warriors?
I did. I did know that they summarized that it continued on in Fantastic Four. That's awesome.
It did, because if you're not familiar, Shogun Warriors was a licensed property from Japan. These toys that were giant robots, basically, like the on cover here, this samurai destroyer. They kind of look like that. Marvel canceled the book, let the license lapse. But the problem was Shogun Warriors, like Godzilla at the time, took place in Marvel continuity. So how are they going to explain the Shogun Warriors just being gone now? That's what this issue does. It's a decent story. Basically, the robots, the Shogun Warrior robots, get completely destroyed off panel, so you don't have to show them. You can see the wreckage, like here's a leg, here's an arm. And the pilots of the Shogun Warriors get sent off to, go be a scientist again, or go be a stunt driver, or go be a test pilot. They go back to their normal lives, and they're kind of sad that their giant robots have been destroyed, but the end.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, well, you want to relicense it, Richard, you go right ahead. High grade copies of this fetch around $10 on eBay. I don't think you have to have a high grade copy if you just want to read it. It's a nice little epilogue and ties a nice little bow onto a little forgotten part of Marvel Bronze Age.
I love the little unexpected guest stars there in the corner.
We can't say guest starring the Shogun Warriors. Just say 3 unexpected guest stars, which you look at this cover. It's not Red Ronin. But you look at this cover, you see a giant robot, and you see Doug Mensch, who wrote all 20 issues of Shogun Warriors, and it's not too tough to figure out who those mystery guest stars are going to be. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up for this week. Members, we will see you on Wednesday and Thursday for the show and tell episode and the live stream. Also, don't forget, members get that special spine roll correction video. It's live now. Check it out.
Yep. Everybody, stay safe.